Hi. Hi. Welcome. Thank you so much, all of you, for having me here to talk with you today. This means the world to me. And I know that this is a very important time for you too. You know, you're just starting out here. This is a chance to define yourselves, or to redefine yourselves, to decide if and how you want to change the world and to make people proud of you. And I know that you're feeling a lot of pressure, both inside and out right now, to get this right. And I think the best thing that I can tell you is that I see you. I see you. I see those of you who come here with a legacy of success behind you. You whose families are full of doctors, lawyers, executives. You from whom success is simply expected, and for whom failure would stick out like a sore thumb. I see you. I see you who are the first in your families to go to college. Maybe even the first to call yourselves Americans. Yeah. You for whom generations have worked tirelessly to get you to this point. And you feel that. You don't want to disappoint those people. I see you. I see you who don't look like me. And while I hate to admit it, I know it's true. Because you're not straight, white, able-bodied men. You have already endured challenges that I will never face. And I'm betting that this degree means something to you and the people who care about you that I'll never understand. But I see you. Now, these categories aren't meant to be exclusive of one another or inclusive of everyone. There are 1,000 people here. There are 1,000 stories. You don't look alike. You don't sound alike. You don't dress alike. You don't come from the same places. You're not going to the same places. But one thing that you and we have in common is someone else. There is someone out there, or maybe in here, who means something to you and who believes in you. Now, maybe, probably, hopefully, that includes your parents. It includes mine. They're here today. I know, right? Maybe it's a sibling, one you want to emulate, or one you need to set a good example for. My brother's here too, and he's kind of both. Maybe it's a teacher, somebody from elementary or high school, somebody who gave you that extra ounce of confidence or understanding when you needed it, and you want to do right by them, make them proud. I know my most valuable teacher for my whole career came in first grade. Sister Cecilia scared us to death at the time, but she taught us what we needed to know. And she loved us all. And that's really all you need, isn't it? But if you honestly can't think of anybody who believes in you, or if you're just looking to add one more to your corner, I encourage you strongly to come meet the faculty here. There are people here who will believe in you. I know this because I know them and because I'm one of them. Not because I'm paid to. I gotta watch my P's, excuse me. Not because I'm paid to. I'm not. And not because I'm an optimist. I'm definitely not. But I've been here long enough now to know the character and the potential of the people who sit where you're sitting. I believe in you because you are worth believing in. But I'm not here principally to tell you that you can do it, you can make people proud and chase your dreams, change the world. You can. Of course you can. And we will get to that, but there's something more important and far more often overlooked that I need you to understand first. And that's that it's okay to fail. I'll do you one more. There may come times while you're here when you will feel like a failure, like a disappointment, like you're letting down those people who mean so much to you. I need you to understand that that is a human thing. It is something we all experience, and it is something that will pass if you give it enough time. Now, why does this mean so much to me? Every semester I've been here, every single one, and I've kept track, there have been students in my office in tears. This is A students and D students, first generations and legacies, upper class, underclass, all races, genders, everybody. Usually it's after they did badly on an exam, either mine or sometimes somebody else's. Occasionally, it's a student who realized late in the game that they picked the wrong major. And now they got to turn their whole lives around and they're not happy about it. These students are nervous, and they're frightened, and they're ashamed. But what breaks my heart is that I have developed a foolproof method of knowing when I really need to worry about a student. It's never when they talk about themselves. It's never the, I was so stupid, or that was a dumb mistake. It's never that. They say one of two things to set my alarm off. It's either, I don't know what I'm going to tell my parents, or it's, Professor, I don't want you thinking less of me. You see, when other people believe in you, your professors, your parents, anybody, it can become an unbearable burden under the wrong circumstances. I am as prone to this as anybody else. I try not to tell people my plans in advance because it is such a painful thing to disappoint them. You know, better they only hear about my successes after the fact, right? But that doesn't work in college. You can't hide here. You're graded on a schedule, and every exam you take is a chance for somebody like me to get out a red pen and tell you what you did wrong, where you failed to learn. It would be beyond strange to me if any of you weren't the least bit nervous about coming to college, and that's because you're not just carrying your books on your back. You are carrying the expectations of the people who mean something to you, and for all the good and the motivation that that can provide, it can also magnify your disappointing moments. It can make the slightest imperfections feel like betrayals of somebody else's dream. It can crush people. So my first piece of advice to you, don't tie your worth to your grades. It's an easy trap to fall into. Grades are quantitative. They rank you among your peers. They're given by people with authority and experience. I get it. Okay, I get it. But I am telling you, the people who love you are not pinning that love to your report card. My care for you as a professor is based not on your grades or your major or your career ambition. It's based on your character, your humanity, your empathy, your effort, your honesty, your willingness to learn and to help other people and to get back up when you get knocked over. You are, all of you, already worth more than any grade I could ever give you. And that's always been the case. And that brings me to something else I need you to understand. See, there's a reason I'm here. And there's a reason why I am so happy and so thankful that you are all here with me. I learned a while ago that a good way to measure your life is to ask yourself, of what I've been given, how much have I given away? And I have been given so much. I was fortunate. My whole life I went to small schools. I was surrounded by teachers who respected me, who cared about me, who believed in me. I don't want to say I came to expect it. I don't think I'm that spoiled, but it was my normal. I learned to appreciate the ability of a good teacher to change the life of a kid like me. And when I knew I wanted to be a professor, a teacher, that was my bar, you know? But in order to get a tenure-track job like the sweet gig I got cooking, you got to get a Ph.D. So I put out some applications, maybe some people wrote some letters, I don't know, and I ended up at Rutgers. And as part of my financial aid package there, they let me teach. Now, to this day, it still blows my mind that anybody lets me teach college, but we'll leave that aside. Rutgers is a big place. And the students there had internalized the idea that they didn't come first with us, that the faculty had bigger, better things to worry about. It killed me to see how meek and fearful they were to ask for my time, to ask for my help. I wanted to yell at them, "You're the reason I'm here. Stop apologizing. Come talk to me." They were kids. You are kids. You're here now. So you're my kids. And it never seemed right to me to have to turn away the people I know in my heart I'm supposed to be looking out for. So I'm here. Because here I don't have to compromise on the values I grew up cherishing in order to do my job well. Here, I can earn back the wonderful things I've been given because here, I can see you. I'm supposed to see you here. That's the culture at this place. Let me illustrate. I park in the Butler lot. I'm not bragging about my parking space. I'm going somewhere with this, I promise. I park in the Butler lot, which is a 7-minute walk to or from my office. I'm an accountant. I timed it. This is what I do. But I'll always try to take a couple extra minutes if I can and detour through the student center because you're there. Because there are touch points there. I can catch up with students maybe I haven't seen in a while. Make sure everything's going okay with them. And the reason I tell you this, one time I was walking in my car with my friend Kerry Tan, who's an economics professor, and he is amazing, by the way. You should all take him. But I thought to myself, maybe he's in a rush. I'm not going to put him through my rigmarole. We'll just go straight to the cars. He says to me, "You want to walk through the student center and say hi?" And I was like, yeah, I really do. He had the same routine I did, and we never had to talk about it. We never had to name it. It wasn't anything special. It's just what you do here. We had a student who a couple of months after he graduated suffered an aneurysm. Now, he's doing better now. He's walking, he's talking, he's his old self. But for months, he was in awful shape. He had holes in his head. He was wrapped up like a mummy. He was in a coma. And I can't tell you how many faculty came to visit. Didn't matter that he'd already graduated. He was part of us. He was part of this. Professor Schmidt-King in international business, her husband's a doctor. Not like me, he's a real doctor, he helps people. And the two of them would visit sometimes 2 or 3 times a week. They'd bring clementines to his parents who were camped out in his hospital room. They'd explain to them what was going on so they wouldn't feel so nervous. They'd hold the kid's hand. And I'm usually not much of a melty-hearted kind of guy, but that did it for me. It reminded me why I love this place. And while I hate the thought that students are going to be suffering under the stress and the pressure of college, I know it's going to happen. I can't stop it, but at least here they know you're not alone. I'll be talking with recruiters from accounting firms or professors or administrators, anybody. If I see that there's a student looking wrong, it is always okay for me to say, hey, can we finish this later? I got to go check on somebody. True story, I was once an hour late to a faculty meeting I was supposed to be chairing because I was talking to a student in trouble, and I ended up walking him to the counseling center. And here's the great thing. When I got to that meeting, I was a little out of breath, and I got some looks, understandable. But once I explained what was going on, it was all okay. Everyone understood. In fact, I'll never forget this. The assistant dean pulled me aside after the meeting, looked me in the eyes and said, "You know you did the right thing, right?" And that doesn't happen everywhere, but it happens here. Do you know how lucky I am that this place exists and that I get to work here? So, my second piece of advice to you, as long as you are here, take advantage. Take advantage of this magnificent institution and the caring people who work here. Father Linnaeus is fond of saying that you should squeeze this place like a wet sponge, get every drop out of it, leave it dry. And he's right. Join clubs, play sports, join an a cappella group. We have like 50 of them. Right? Forget about it, right? Do service, make friends, but go to class. Okay, I shouldn't have to tell you to go to class. Go to class. Go to class. But one thing in particular I want you to do for me. Come to my office hours. You see, students, especially first-year students, occasionally have this misconception that if I say my office hours are between 10 and 2, it means don't bug me between 10 and 2 because I'm working, when it's just the opposite. Office hours are bug me o'clock. That's when I want you to come in. My door is wide open. I want to get to know you, see what we can accomplish together. Mostly you doing the work, but still, I want to be part of it. Another true story, I'm here in part because of office hours. See, I was an English major undergrad. Very proud one, by the way. English is a beautiful thing. You should all major in that. That or accounting. Those are your choices. I'm sorry. But I knew I wanted to get into business after I graduated. I wasn't sure how. But I trusted my advisor, Dr. Wilner, my English advisor. I went to her. She said to me, JP, I think you'd make a great accountant. Now, to this day, I'm not sure if that was a compliment or not. But I took her advice, took a class, fell in love with it. 2.5 years later, I'm finishing a Master's of Science in Accountancy. I'm on my way to get a Ph.D. in accounting. A 5-minute conversation changed my whole life for the better. You have 4 years here. Give me 5 minutes of that. I am in Sellinger 317. My cell phone number, please put this in your phones if you like. 717-746-8857. It anagrams, anybody? It anagrams to 717, shout JP. I love it. Text me, call me. And here's the great thing. It doesn't have to be me. I am not special here. I'm not unique. See, I am painfully aware that as an accounting professor, my discipline is the most boring subject in the universe. I know this. But you, all kidding aside, if you could find interest or passion in some other discipline, I encourage you, go find a professor in that discipline who cares about you and go to their office hours. This is not a difficult task. You won't have to spend much time looking. Loyola is littered with faculty whose knowledge is eclipsed only by their desire to share it with you. Please don't waste this opportunity. Third piece of advice. Third piece of advice. And no backstory on this one, just do it for me, okay? All of you, get out your phones again. Just put this number in there, 410-617-2273. That's our counseling center. From any on-campus phone, just dial CARE. If you need them, call them. That's what they're there for. There is no shame in it, and I will fight anybody who says otherwise, and I'm pretty sure that's why they give me the mace. Sorry. I don't want to paint a picture of a sad place. Believe it or not, there's more to Loyola than crying and brain injuries. Sorry. Okay. So, this is a joyful place, though. This is a joyful place, and it is so because of the joy that you bring to it. The only days when I am not just over the moon to come to work, when this isn't the best thing I got going on, are the days when you're not here. You know how happy I am that there are students back on campus. My garden is alive again. I love it. And I meant what I said. I believe in you because I know what you're capable of. I have seen what the people who have come before you have gone on to do. I'm going to brag for a quick second. We had a student win the Elijah Watt Sells Award. Now, you win this award by scoring a 95.5 or above on all 4 sections of the CPA exam on your first tryout. In her year, there were 92,000 exam takers. She was one of 75 people to win the award, the only one in the state of Maryland. And I taught her intro. I'm just saying, you know. We have another student, last I talked to him, was on his way toward finishing the normally 3-year-long CFA exam in half of that time, just a few years after beating leukemia. Now, technically, he's finance and not accounting, but I still count him as one of mine, I'm just saying. And it's not all exam performance and job placement. We have an on-campus, student-run, student-staffed, volunteer income tax assistance clinic where community members, just local people, can come get their taxes done by IRS-certified volunteers, our students, without getting ripped off with high fees or interest. You think these are all A students? They're not, and I don't care. They're doing good work. In their first year, they were told they'd be lucky. They'd be lucky to get 100 returns done. They did 210. They returned $319,000 to the community without charging a cent, and next year's going to be better. And I brought a friend. Her name's Amanda. Now, Amanda graduated from Loyola in 2015. She did everything right. She passed her CPA exams, got licensed, went to work for KPMG, got promoted, was a rock star. Could have made partner if she wanted. She was an amazing auditor. But that's not what she wanted. So Amanda put out some applications. Maybe some people wrote some letters. I don't know. And Amanda has just finished her first year at Drexel University's accounting Ph.D. program. Amanda, could you stand up for a second? She's going to be Dr. Acevedo soon, and I hope one day she is blessed to feel the pride that I feel when I look at her. And here's the great thing. My friends, all of this is just from my tiny corner of the business school, which itself is just one part of a much larger set of opportunities. I don't care who you are, every one of you, while you're here, has the chance to do something noble, something significant, something that'll make the world an irreversibly better place and set you up for success in the bargain. My job at its core is to see more in you than you see in yourselves and to show you the wonderful things that I see. The good my students can do is the best I could ever hope to accomplish, and there is so much good to be done here. I can't wait to watch you set the world on fire. As long as you remember that if that doesn't happen as quickly as you wanted, as fully as you'd hoped, or in the way you would have liked it to, as long as you are here, you will be surrounded by people who respect you, who care about you, and who believe in you anyway. We see you here. I see you, and I love you all. Thank you.